Welcome to episode 3 of exposing why this cartoon was canceled. I'm your host, Tre Swervo, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and thank you for showing up.
Shout out to my mans, he requested this video, so I had to go ahead and listen to the fans and I went and did Avatar. Today, we will be exposing why Avatar The Last Airbender was canceled. But, before we get into any of that, man, please subscribe, drop a comment, like, share it, do anything, or tell me what comics I should put up here. Let me know, man, y'all got good taste.
Let's kick things off with the success of the show. In terms of success, Avatar managed to push out 3 seasons, and within these 3 seasons, they had 61 episodes.
A miraculous shot by Curry.
Their most notable characters include Aang, obviously, come on now, the young goat. We have Katara and Zuko. They get a lot of credit for their world building. With that being said, who is your favorite character shown on the screen? Drop a comment. They were not in the most competitive cartoon market, okay? This era was an era when cartoons were kind of getting dropped. Stations and different channels were transitioning into new stories. So at this point, Avatar had a really open market to kind of play with. Of course, there were established shows such as SpongeBob, The Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, and Samurai Jack. But again, there was an open market for a new cartoon to come in and steal the spotlight. The Last Airbender came in with a terror. As I would like to note, Danny Phantom was beginning to fall off, and Nickelodeon needed a cartoon that would appeal to children, teens, and adults. But hey, check out my last Danny Phantom video below.
I think I dropped it in a comment, or I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. But you know, go find it. You know, what's up? We'll go find it.
Meanwhile,
when the show entered the scene in 2005, the audience was hooked to the storyline. Every episode mattered. The characters' journeys were told in a beautiful way in Avatar: The Last Airbender. From Zuko's redemption arc to Azula's descent into madness. Every character felt real, okay? You felt like you had a personal connection. And their emotions they dealt, they had weight, okay? These emotions you watch, yeah, almost had you in tears. Come on, man. They had heavy topics in Avatar. Now, unlike the cartoons we previously covered, Avatar did not receive an animated movie. Well, we have that live action garbage, dumpster fire, whatever you want to call it, but I didn't like it. In my opinion, Nickelodeon was still scarred from the Danny Phantom era. Now, this situation left a huge scar on them. The Danny Phantom team overshot the budget, and Nickelodeon didn't want to run the same problem. As I mentioned, this show had an impressive run. In fact, they had the most successful video game run thus far of any show I've covered. They pushed out 8 video games that were exclusively for consoles. Okay? They also produced 18 CPU-based video games, and we can't forget the popular Avatar Generations app, which you can still play to this day. I always say back in the day, if you had a show, a video game plus movies, business had to be booming. Sadly, due to shows like Danny Phantom, we were robbed of an Avatar movie. Well, again, kinda. But I don't really count that dumpster fire. It goes without saying, The Last Airbender was really popular. Okay, that's pretty redundant at this point to basically say that. They have won an Emmy for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Animation for an episode called Lake Lagoya. They also won 5 Annie Awards, okay? Annie Awards are a big deal because they recognize excellence in animation. And they even had an impressive Kid Choice Award for Favorite Cartoon. Now, winning Favorite Cartoon in this era was a huge deal because the 2008 Kids Choice Award was the first time ever that SpongeBob did not win Favorite Cartoon. And obviously, Avatar was the cartoon to beat it out. So you know business was booming at that time. Again, in terms of success, The Last Airbender was the highest rated animated television series in its demographic at its premiere. On average, 1.1 million viewers watched each new episode. It had 5.6 million viewers in its highest rated episode and was a highly rated part of the Nicktoons lineup beyond its 6 to 11-year-old target demographic. Okay, again, I mentioned that 6 to 11 target audience a lot. I even mentioned it last video, But this is it at the range where they're still having birthday parties, buying toys, pajamas, like bean bags. But anyways, they even had a 1 hour special that was The Secret of the Fire Nation.
When that dropped on September 15th, shout out my boy Henry.
In 2006, they attracted 4.1 million viewers for that release. Now, according to the Nielsen ratings, the special was the 5th highest rated cable television program that week. In 2007, The Last Airbender was syndicated to more than 105 countries, and it was one of Nickelodeon's top rated programs ever, still to this day. Once again, now for our favorite questions. If Avatar The Last Airbender was so popular, what happened? How did it fall from fame, and how did it get canceled? Well, in this situation, we can narrow it down to about 2 major reasons: conflict with writers and conflict with the target audience. Aaron Ehas, who served as the head writer on Avatar, mentioned when season 2 got picked up, there was no guarantee for a 3rd season, which led to a huge cliffhanger in which Aang got hit with a lightning bolt. I mean, everyone remembers this scene. But this left the audience unsure if he was going to return. Ehas revealed that they did not pick it up after season 2. They laid off all the writers after season 2, and everybody was sent home for about 3 to 4 months. He goes on to add, Avatar was consistently fighting to tell its story. For example, Aang learning all 4 elements, Zuko becoming a good guy. These were all thought ahead of time. Completing the story was never a guarantee. But in an interview with Film, Ehas said when he got brought on, they had just gotten green lit for 5 scripts. But when you hear 5 scripts, that lets you know that's 5 seasons. Now, I'm no Hollywood exec, but if I know if a show is approved for 5 seasons and only produced 3, my mind immediately starts thinking ratings. I mean, they had a dope concept and they were gaining a lot of viewers, but their writers probably started demanding more money as a result. And Nickelodeon had to make a conscious decision. Now, were they going to pay their writing team or their animation team? Now, at this point in their development, the data tells us, with writers being basically laid off, that they went and paid their animation team. Now. I must add that the Airbender team has stated that they wanted to tell Aang's story, and that's it. They did not want to drag it out. Ehas has mentioned that they originally pitched 3 seasons, which explains why The Legend of Korra is not canon. Also, this segment is not a knock on the storyline. This is one of the greatest, if not the greatest cartoon storyline ever. Now, I'm not the only one who agrees. All 3 seasons has a 100% tomato meter and a 98% audience score on RottenTomatoes.com. In the cartoon world, great stories do not always equal higher ratings. With that being said, complex stories, they require an older audience. Again, the head writer Ehas mentioned, we were aware that the story had deeper implications and themes. He then goes on to mention, but at the same time, we knew that a lot of our audience was going to be younger. Now, that really backs up my point, because sadly, older audiences will not buy merch at the same rate of a 6 to 11 target audience. Again, they are still having birthday parties and are buying merch at a high rate. Could Avatar The Last Airbender avoid it being canceled? Well, this is kind of complicated, but I highly doubt that they could have avoided this situation. The team behind The Last Airbender have reportedly voiced their opinions on how the show was only intended to run for 3 seasons just to tell Aang's story. Now, you did not and still do not see this often in cartoons, but when cartoons take this approach, they tend to age like fine wine. For example, the original Teen Titans. But also check out my Why the Teen Titans Got Canceled video from, my past video. With that being said, the Teen Titans did not have an ongoing storyline, and the minute they tried to pivot in that direction, they were canceled. Avatar really managed to do something special, and I don't see a situation where they would want to continue it. In my opinion, this is why The Legend of Korra was a dumpster fire as well. Give me your hate about it, but I didn't really like The Legend of Korra. With that being said, I doubt they avoid being canceled.
Whew, man. This concludes today's episode. Comment below, would you be open to another reboot? I know Netflix talked about something, and I know they have an ongoing comic book, but how do you feel about Avatar: Last Airbender? And what cartoon, movie, video game should I do next? I'll be willing to do anything. Thank you for the comments below. Once again, I'm Tre Swervo, and I'm out of here, my boy.